Hi, I'm Munira, the curator of The Cup and the Saucer, an exhibition at Warehouse 421. This exhibition explores the notion of unity, separation, and individualism. Its title is a metaphor for the momentary split that takes place when a cup parts from its saucer, and how, within that moment and within that movement of distancing, a single item breaks into two individual and separate entities. The exhibition is then further divided into 9 sub-themes that showcase Hashel Al Lamki's work. At the beginning of the exhibition, the first sub-theme, Birth in Earth, defines the notion of beginnings. It frames the start of time through the act of birth. Its only attachment is in understanding the notion of an instance, which can be drawn out in terms of mortality and/or immortality. The notion of Earth becomes a spectrum of ongoing time that has no start and no end, a cycle that continues to reinvent itself. The 2 artworks in this sub-theme explore the idea of beginnings and transcendence through the constant repetition and reiteration found within the motifs of the work. These work mirror the notion of beginnings and the infinite. Versailles particularly looks at the study of the self by showcasing the presentation of the self's highest achievements. Here, achievements arrive with effort, and effort brings growth, which allows for ultimate change that satisfies the arrival of a higher self. The 50 paintings in the sound piece are proposed as a single artwork. The paintings study monumentality and spectacle through the exploration of the arrival of the higher self. The artworks are positioned to introduce peaks of extravagance and forms of luxury through different moments of origin, as is understood by Hashel. The sub-theme, Screensavers, represents the analysis of an alternate reality, which is claimed fully until a disruption takes place. It is the dream before the dreamer awakens. The video work distorts a physical reality, framing that of another momentary reality which is bound to the sways of the notion of call and response. Visitors in this section of the exhibition will see large-scale sculptures which represent the sub-theme rejection and reflection. The sculptures are a series of artworks that have been readdressed after experiencing a state of rejection. From this reflection, a new body of work stems out from old ideas. In this sub-theme, the repression of an attempt is explored as a chance to reinvent the self.
To achieve this level of reflection, it required a long process and time of collecting to create these sculptures. For example, in this body of work, you would see a collection of prescriptions and perfume boxes that have been compiled over the past 2 years.
This room hosts a body of work presented under the umbrella of control and guilt. Control and guilt is the emotional equivalence of Newton's third law of motion, which states, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The social bearings of this law are understood through temptations and their repercussions. Here, the ornate and elaborate lamps explore the idea that for each pull there will be a push, and thus to every decision acted upon, a ramification will occur. This large-scale 10-meter painting single-handedly depicts the sub-theme of linger and departure. The artist examines various contrasting metaphors to address this notion of arrival only to depart again. Some of the subjects Hashel is presenting in this painting are the polar bear or the penguin, which live divided between water and land. They are neither land animals or water animals. Here, the painting aims to depict departure as the moment of taking action, while the hesitation and lingering becomes the sole reason of the realization for the need of action. The last sub-theme before the curated room is first glance. Visitors are invited to use the Viewmaster by clicking from one image to the next. The frame imposes a feeling of privacy and seclusion in the otherwise public experience of viewing art in a gallery space. Here, the viewer and the viewed hold the same right to one another, for they are each other's only subjects. This section of the exhibition showcases a series of Egyptian film posters which highlight a single main character, Abi. This group of work does not belong to a single sub-theme, but is the bind behind the metaphor of the title of the exhibition, The Cup and the Saucer. The series of these 16 posters unfold the main ideas of the exhibition, namely transformation, belonging, and language. The curated room creates a space that allows for an exhibition to come to life within an exhibition. This space brings together a group show, giving the viewer a visual palette cleanser and introducing the audience to another tangent before leaving the exhibition space.
Almost Home features work by the selected artist. The show addresses the notion of belonging and contribution to the cultural landscape by tackling linguistically the difference between Arabic and English language in their definitions of the term home. Home in Arabic, al-watan, which is associated with a political system and defined by geographical boundaries. The English word home refers to a physical space like a house or a country, but it can also refer to a feeling. It means to be both in a mental space of utmost comfort and find oneself in an atmosphere of pureness and honesty. In order to both understand and embody the feeling of home, we must develop our understanding to derive from our feelings rather than our language.
As visitors explore the exhibition, they would notice scattered works across the gallery, which punctuate the exhibition. These works belong to the sub-theme Sprinkles. This theme is the invisible bind that ties chaos to order. It is the framing of the wild as the tamed. The painted massage cards and the arbitrary stacks of objects do not belong in a particular order or place. They are gentle reminders to stop and question before moving on to the next part of the exhibition. The metaphoric spectrum that takes place within the moment of shift and complete separation between the cup and the saucer is explored through these 9 proposed sub-themes. The sub-themes are both dependent on one another and independent from one another. They do not have to be placed in a single order, although they are presented this way. In the way they are ordered, a story arrives, and in each subsequent order, a new moral ground is deciphered and can be explored. They mutually stage the perspectives of the overall theme, which navigates the notion of both the unit and the individual. At the same time, they are set to create a push and pull of open-ended questions that bring the narrative to life through the notion of conversation. The sub-themes explore the undulations that exist from a starting point, a single definition, and see it through to its next action or opposite extreme.